it is brutally cold in Sweden right now. And yet, despite that cold, yesterday a bunch of teenage kids who were going home from school and probably just looking forward to come home and relax and play some Fortnite jumped off of the bus nearby where I live, and they went out because they had seen something they thought they needed to do something about. And there was this woman who had fallen off her bike and was apparently just lying on the cycle road. So these teenage kids, instead of going home, being comfortable and doing what they wanted to do, they went outside. One of them took off their jackets, put it underneath the head of the woman, and someone else warmed her up. And then they called the ambulance. They called 112. And they didn't just leave her there. They actually stayed there until the ambulance came, which apparently took some time because we're not in the center of town. And there was no heroics in this. There was no fanfares. This is never going to make the evening news, but someone had picked it up and posted it on the local Facebook group. And it almost makes me want to cry when I read this, because we are so focused today on these big, grandiose things. It's like we forget about our own life experience, and we focus on this huge experience of, this huge story of how we want to be the savior of the planet, or we want to do all these big things, but actually just being there for another human being who needs help is something that we've just forgotten. It's like it's the most intuitive thing in the world has become this difficult thing to do. And I do understand why, but it is difficult to understand how we've been able to get so lost that we're not able to see other humans as humans. Well, not as humans, but as someone or something that's worth helping or doing something about. It has to do with this sense of who I am and what I want to do. And when we focus on the story of me, I mean, most of you are here, you're probably here because you're into meditation or spirituality and you like developing yourself. And for many, it's about overcoming the sense of self. So the way we do that in many traditions is that, well, you help others. But very rarely do we talk about helping others as in actually helping a person. It's more that, oh, no, you go out and you save the world. You travel to some poor place and you help all the homeless people and the people who are starving, and you work for that, and it's so sad and it's terrible. And that is true. I mean, I'm incredibly grateful that some people want to dedicate their lives to doing that. But like for the rest of us who are living normal lives, who have a family to take care of, who can't do that, or who have done it and can't do it anymore, or who would want to do it in the future, we kind of forget that there's people around you all the time who need your help. And it might not be as flashy or TikTok or YouTube worthy as going somewhere and building a watering system for people somewhere, or going out and trying to solve the world problems, whatever it is you may be. Because, I mean, honestly, if you're watching the news right now, it's quite apparent that you can say that you're trying to save the world and be a complete, utter asshole who doesn't care or think about the fact that there are other human beings who have lives, who are affected by your actions. And, I mean, you can take this any way you want, because you can look on both sides of the political spectrum. You can look on all sides of what is right, what is wrong, like what religion you want to belong to, and you can always have that perspective from, oh, okay, well, my people are doing the right thing, but these people are not. But if we look beyond all of that, if we look beyond the stories that we tell ourselves about who we belong to, what group we belong to, and what is the right thing to do, and instead we go back to something more just true or primal inside of us that we all have, but we kind of plaster over because the sense of self, the people use the word ego, I mean in a way that is the ego wants to be important, and it doesn't feel as important to help someone who's fallen off of their bike and maybe has a concussion and can't get up, because I mean that's not as big as going out and filming a TikTok video about it, or doing a reel showing what you did. But the reward of being there for another human being, and the feeling of having helped someone who needs your help, is something that's just missed. Like when you, and it doesn't have to be big things, it's just common decency. Like if you're driving down the road and, you're walking down the road and there's a crosswalking, you're going to walk across the road and the car stops for you. And you walk by and you don't even look at the person driving, say like, hey, thank you. Like, I appreciate you as a human being seeing me and stopping for me. Because even though they have to do that by law, it's not an obvious thing to do. And they could have slammed the brakes just before they got there. But maybe they were just kind and polite and thought, you know what? I'm in a rush. I need to go somewhere, but I'm going to take my time to make sure this person isn't stressed. I always feel when, especially if there's like an old person. I had this just the other day. I was driving in town and there was an old person with a... I don't know what you call them in English, but the rollator, we call them in Swedish, like a thing you hold both hands and they can barely walk, so they support themselves on that. And they were crossing the road and they weren't crossing the road yet. They were standing, trying to wait to cross the road and people just driving by. And I'd stopped and I didn't stop like right up. No, I stopped like way beyond the crossing. And I could see the man, he just looked up and he's like, oh, thank you. And he was so, and he walked like this and he like walked and he said several times, thank you. He walked and he was just, oh, thank you so much. And he walked. And then when I had stopped, the person come from the other side, they also stopped. And then I looked at that person and we were both kind of smiling at each other. And there was just something so real about that. I talk often about how we focus on our life story, but we don't focus on our life experience. That was the life experience right then. It wasn't, I mean, now I'm telling it here, but no one would have known about that unless I said it here. And the important thing is not the telling of it. The important thing was doing it, because it just makes us connect to being here. Because when we're off in our mind thinking about all the incredible things we're going to do, we miss being here. We miss being human. We miss helping other people and feeling the connection that we can feel with others, so that we can build our life story of all the big projects you're doing and all the big things you're going to create and how you're going to save humanity. And if you're a light worker, you're off in your mind saving the light, or I actually don't know what light workers do, but it's something people mention all the time. Well, I kind of know. And like, it's so easy to get stuck in the grandioseness of things. Or it's not about feeling good right now and enjoying being here as a human being. No. You're going to get enlightened. You're going to liberate yourself and become this superhuman. So the idea of just being here, just experiencing, oh, I'm seeing things, I'm feeling things around me, that kind of gets lost in the, I don't know, the bus of all these big things we need to do. And it is sad that we've forgotten how to just be decent human beings. How to just, despite our religions, our differences in politics and all the ideas of, is the earth flat, is it round? I mean, seriously, we all know what the answer is there. By the way, it's round. But even if you believe the earth is flat, why would that prevent you from being kind to other people who don't believe that? Why would it prevent me, who believe the earth is round, to be kind towards people who believe it is flat? I mean, it's just believe. It doesn't matter. We're still human beings, and we so often forget about this, and we believe that, oh, they did something wrong, they should just be punished. Maybe actually the people who do something wrong are the ones who really, and the people who act the worst generally are the most miserable people. If you feel good, if you enjoy being you, then it is very natural to just be kind and help other people. If you hoard everything and you hold it back and you're tight and you don't give away to anyone, and it's just about me and the people I belong to, and everyone else that can just like rot, I don't care about them. That is, generally speaking, not a healthy person. Sorry, a happy person. And if you're not a happy person, then many times you're not a healthy person either. I mean, one of the things that makes it difficult is that we get irritated at people. We feel like, oh, this person is doing something wrong towards me. And then we feel irritation, we feel anger towards them. And then we start behaving in a way that is not kind towards them. And there's a lot of self in that gets kind of triggered. And I actually made a video about that. You can watch it here, where I talk a bit more about how you can use the friction you feel towards someone else, or the distortion, this anger or irritation, and actually have that be something that can help you become more centered, more present here, and just experiencing your life experience. instead of projecting a story onto them. And by doing that, hopefully, you will be more of a human being trying to just help people around you instead of trying to be a Marvel hero who saves the universe.